Hello, everyone. Happy Black Music Month and happy Pride Month as well. Hope your June has been going well so far. I'm recording this 2 days in, but when you see this, it'll be 5 days in. So hopefully, your June is going well so far. As always, poems inspired by music, written by me, your boy, obligatory self promotion. My book, which has a lot of Black artists, that this music, that the poems are based on their music, and it has some, I think at least two. I know it has like two women loving women poems at least. I don't know if I got a poem. I know I have a poem that has like three different perspectives from like women, a lesbian couple, a gay couple, and a straight couple. But I don't think I put it in the book. But you can find out if you actually read it because I don't remember if I put it in the book. I don't think I did, but I have it somewhere. But it is Pride Month. So today we're going to be into the Black Music Month bag, and I'm going to be reviewing Junior Mafia's first album versus the firm's first and only album. So I'm going to give a little background on both first. Well, I'm going to review Junior Mafia's Conspiracy first, give a little background on them, and then, get into my review. And then we're going to go over the firm, and then I do have like a combination, like, my thoughts, if I don't knock everything off my desk, my thoughts at the end of like how I kind of feel about both of them. So, Junior Mafia was an American hip hop group from Bedford, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, New York. It's a backronym, which I wonder what the difference between a backronym and an acronym is, which stands for Masters at Finding Intelligent Attitudes, which, has the like mafia theme as well. Now I want to know what a backronym is. We're going to see if it even loads. But while I think about that, let me see. Backronym. Oh, wow. It actually loaded really fast. Is an existing word that has been reverse engineered to fit a phrase, making its letters spell out a meaningful or catchy acronym. Okay, that does make sense. So yeah, this like basically using a word that already exists. Okay, so that makes sense to me. Let's see. Now, what else? They were formed and mentored by New York rapper the Notorious B.I.G. In 1995, they released their debut album, Conspiracy, which we're going to talk about. The success of the group's singles Players Anthem, which went number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, and Get Money, which went to number 17, helped launch the career of Little Kim as a solo artist. The group disbanded shortly after the murder of Notorious B.I.G. Little Kim and Little C deciding to continue on their solo careers. In 2005, three of the members, not including Lil Kim, was the second album under the Junior Mafia name, as a remembrance of the group, which I thought they had technically more than one album, which I said in one of my short videos, but I'm going to redo it, so you're not even going to see the first draft that I did, because now I have different thoughts and different things that I want to talk about in that video, because now I realize they really just kind of had one album each, so that was interesting. So yeah, their debut album is called Conspiracy. It was released August 29th, 1995. The genre is East Coast hip hop, hardcore hip hop, gangsta rap. You can stream it on YouTube Music, Apple Music, Pandora, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple and Amazon Music. I already said Apple Music. I listen to it on Apple Music because that's what I subscribe to. You can listen to it wherever you want to listen to it. The whole thing is also on YouTube, not like YouTube Music, but like just YouTube. If you just want to, get it for free. So what are the vibes I got? I got gangsta, I got paranoia, and mafia. They spelled it like Junior Mafia, but I meant like mafia. That's like a big theme in both of these projects. Did I do the vibes for the other group, the other album? Of course I did not. So I'm just gonna make it up once we get to that point because I totally forgot. But anyway, I'm gonna get into my favorite songs, my least favorite songs, and my overall opinion. So my first favorite song was Realms of Junior Mafia. This had Little C's. Now his name is spelled differently. So it said one is Cheek and one is Check. So I'm gonna go with what it says. I think it was on Genius where they had a name. So it's Cheek, Delvec, Jamal, which I have another song I like with him on it, but they said his name was Little Jamal, or he called himself Little Jamal. And then I put Biggie because I didn't feel like putting out Notorious B.I.G. But you know who he is. This beat is a much better than the first track. This was the second track, and it should have been the first track to me. All of the verses on this one were good and held their own. The first track is called White Chalk. Relied on the sample verses from Method Man and Biggie, but Trife and Larceny, who are part of Junior Mafia, they couldn't live up to the samples, in my opinion. And I love each rapper has their own chorus on this on this song that goes into their verse. I always gotta have a typo, you know. But yeah, I really loved this song. You know, it gave the vibes of like the crew and like, you know, how they approach like their mafia theme. It was really cool. And then this is their third single. And, you know, of course everybody knows, I'm not gonna say everybody, but most people know Getting Money and what was the other single? Players Anthem, for the most part. If you're into rap and you like 90s rap, you know. But this was their third single, I Need You Tonight. So it's featuring Faith Evans on the album, but in the video, it's featuring Aaliyah because you know, if you don't know, Little Kim was with Biggie before he became famous. Then he married Faith Evans, which it could have been a spiritual marriage, allegedly. Things have come out and said, you know, it doesn't seem like they were legally married, but hey, it was whatever they wanted it to be, basically. And so then they had beef. So I think that's why Faith Evans was on the album, but not in the video because, you know, of course, Lil' Kim was in the video and she probably didn't want Faith Evans on the set. So there's that little lore behind this song. So it had Trife, Lil' Kim, Kleptomaniac on it. I think this single deserves more love. I prefer the video version with Aaliyah, but I do think Faith Evans sounds beautiful as always. I think they both are great singers. I feel like it works. I kind of like the Aaliyah version better though, but like, because I feel like she's kind of more cool with it, and I feel like, not saying Faith Evans isn't cool, but I feel like Aaliyah is like a cool, but like R&B singer, like trendy. But then I feel like Faith Evans is like a soulful, like a hood singer, kind of different, you know. And I feel like she's kind of different. She's like more soulful, more. I'm not gonna say she's gentle because like I said, she is hood, you know. But it's just kind of a different style, I guess they have. I think this song is a great mix of hip hop and R&B together. Little Kim's verse is my favorite verse of the song, a mix of raunchy and bravado-filled lyrics. And she was mentioning, this is kind of a random fact. She kind of mentioned a lot of like porn stars, and it was on this song, and I think another song on the album, or was it Big Mama thing? It might have been her song Big Mama thing. Um, and then, kind of had to, I did research and I was like, who the hell is she talking about? Vanessa Del Rio. So I did do some research. That's all I'm going to say about it. But she was a 70s adult star. So yeah. But I feel like that's always interesting, how, and this is going to be a slight tangent. I saw this tweet that was like, oh, before Nicki Minaj, no female rapper was very feminine. Da Brat did not go through a feminized, over sexual stage for people to say this. And not only that, Little Kim and Foxy Brown were rapping hardcore and sexy in dresses. So, and then now, Nicki Minaj is not, we're not messing with her. I'm not messing with her. Yeah. But anyway, whatever you think. But I just feel like that was so crazy because, like, she's talking about she's going to be freakier than a porn star. And that's not feminine? I don't understand. But anyway, and she's wearing, like I said, they're wearing dresses. They got furs on. They got the wigs. It's not like they're wearing, uh, no offense to Queen Latifah, she was a tomboy and we know that she's a lesbian now. But, it was a different, yeah, like I get kind of what they would say. But if they were saying like before, like if they said Little Kim and Foxy Brown instead of Nicki Minaj, I'd be like, okay, yeah. Because like MC Light and Queen Latifah, they were kind of tomboyish. Even though I feel like Queen Latifah, I mean, not Queen Latifah. I do think that MC Light kind of also went through a very feminine phase as well. But it's just crazy. So I just had to get that out of the way. But yeah, I love that song. And then they have a song called Crazy, which is spelled Crazy. So it's very crazy. I feel like that's so interesting. So this was Larceny and Trife. I think that's how you say his name. That's how it looks to me. This is much better of a track of them together. I guess where they have the first song? Yes, they did. That's why I said that. Okay. Protection wise, it was better and lyric wise, showing how drugs and alcohol can impair your judgment and make you do things you wouldn't do otherwise. And they approach the topic in their own unique ways. So they're like smoking weed. They're paranoid. They're, of course, it's like mafia themes. There's guns and stuff everywhere. So they're feeling hyper aware. That's basically what the song is. And I felt like that was a really good song for them both. And then my last favorite song was Oh My Lord with Kleptomaniac and the Notorious B.I.G., as you all know. They both had a good back and forth throughout the song. The beat is good too and works with the lyrics of the song. And I feel like it's probably just like another mafia and gangster kind of song, but it works. Like, I'm not gonna say, like, Biggie. I feel like he had a good flow. Even though like I did. If you haven't seen it, I have reviewed Ready to Die. Like, I feel like it was really depressing, but I also feel like he's a really good rapper. He would say some weird off the wall stuff sometimes that were very inappropriate. But what I mean, kind of what rapper hasn't, but of course to varying degrees. So yeah, that was my last favorite song. And then my least favorite song is not really a song. It was all the skits. So there were some skits where they're trying to find Larceny because he's gotten shot. They don't they don't know what hospital he is. They finally find him, but they don't really resolve it once the album ends. And then the other ones were like completely random and don't go with the other skits about Larceny or relate to the songs there before. So I think they could have just been cut out. And I know it's like a 90s thing. Everybody had skits. I get it. Did they need to have skits? No. I guess 90s and 2000s. Of course, not really too much now, but um, although some like I guess it's not a mainstream thing, but I have listened to like some female rappers or like underground rappers that still have like their intro and their outro. They might have interludes, and I feel like it's like more of a smaller artist thing. Well, no, because Tiana Taylor had a bunch of skits, a bunch of people talking throughout her album that I reviewed last year, this year, one of these years, recently. So I mean, it's not as popular, but it was a thing. But yeah, it wasn't working for me though. I will say this album, despite having very similar subject matters for each song, all sounded unique. So they all had different beats and very unique sounds. So that worked for it. The production made all the songs on theme, but still not melt together. Like it didn't sound like just one big song, basically. I think it's the biggest strength of the album. Of course, the songs I highlighted, those rappers did great job on. Also adding Little Kim had a great solo track called Backstabbers, and then she used that sample from the 70s about the Backstabbers song. It was another weed paranoia type song, but it fits her perspective well because she's talking about women who don't like her, basically, and stuff like that. So that was cool. I didn't like all the skits. I didn't like the skits. I didn't like all the skits because they didn't even have an ending, and some didn't fit the story. I guess I should say I don't know why I said that. I didn't like any of the skits, basically. Um, Also, this album suffers from too many cooks in the kitchen because, from what I looked up, not everyone in Junior Mafia was on the album, and a lot of large rap collectives suffer from that too. For example, like Young Money, they had like 27 people. But who do you remember? You remember Lil Wayne, who made Young Money, Nicki Minaj, Drake, Tyga. That's pretty much it. I guess you could mention like maybe a little twist and a little something extra. And like I think I want to say Seven Streeter was there, maybe. And I feel like there's another woman, unless I'm mixing her up with another woman. But some of them they had like she was in a group before, then she was in solo. So they kind of had their own kind of thing, but not a lot of them really broke through. So that's kind of a theme. But I enjoyed it overall. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. A lot of good singles and other memorable songs. So the Firm. So the Firm was an American hip hop subgroup, supergroup formed in New York City in 1996 by rapper Nas, his manager Steven Stout, producer Dr. Dre, and production team Trickmasters. The group composed of East Coast based rappers Nas, Foxy Brown, AZ, and Cormega. I hope that's how you say his name. Rapper Nature is a former member. He served as a replacement for Cormega after he was ousted from the group. Although the group received initial hype and high expectations from fans upon their formation after collectively signing to Dr. Dre's Aftermath label, the firm's debut album, the album, 1997, generated disappointing sales and generally negative criticism. The album, which featured predominantly mafioso rap themes and production from Dr. Dre and Trackmasters, was criticized for its pop orientation, which I will get into that, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I disagree with that perspective, but we'll get into that more. Their debut album was the group's only release, and they disbanded in 1999, with each member continuing their solo careers. The members, including Cormega, who made up with Nas after their falling out, excluding Nature, reunited on Nas's 2020 album King's Disease on the track Full Circle. Dr. Dre has outro vocals on that song. I feel like I've heard that song, but now, no, I feel like I've heard of the album, but I don't know if I've heard that song. But anyway, let's get into the album, which I feel like is not a very creative name. And honestly, I kind of felt like with this information that I had, that I was going to be like a hater. I'm going to be honest. I thought I was. Um, in the genre, it was released October 21st, 1997. It's mafioso rap. You can stream it on all the same things that I said earlier, and I listened to it on Apple Music. And I forgot to write something for the vibes, but it's very mafioso vibes. I feel like it was also more on theme with that. Mafioso vibes. I'm trying to think of what other vibes. What other vibes? There were some soulful tracks, so that was kind of surprising. Soulful vibes, and I feel like it was, a lot of lyricism. So those are the vibes. So then, of course, favorite songs, least favorite songs, overall opinion. So my favorite songs were, the first one is Phone Tag with AZ, Nas, and Dr. Dre. The story in the song is very engaging. The beat is good and matches the vibes of the song. I love the sample that has been used in all the songs. All the verses are good in this song, and everyone held their own. Well, what sample was it? I'm trying to remember what it was. It's like, it's like the Mario one. It's like doom 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 doom. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Look up the song. You know what I'm talking about when you hear it. But that's the sample. Let me see if I can find it in my history. Because I was like, I definitely heard this in Mario Winans. No, it was Faith Evans and her song with, gosh, what song? Here it is. It's in my history. Um, so it's Petite Fleur by Chris Barber's jazz band. And it has been in a bunch of songs. Now let me see, what other songs was it in? You'll know what I'm talking about if you hear. Oh, Can't Believe, Faith Evans featuring Carl Thomas. That's the sample in there. I knew I heard it before. And now I sampled it again. There's a group called Good Girl who have a song called Don't Talk Back. I remember it from that. Eminem has a freestyle based off this song, also called Phone Tag. Okay, those are the only ones I remember. But yeah, I knew it sounded familiar, but I have not heard the original song. But yeah, it's been sampled a bunch of times. So I like that. So I felt like it really fit. So phone tags basically like they're the mob. Their phones being tagged or tapped by the police. So that's what the song's about. And then Firm All Stars, Nas. It has Nas, Pretty Boy, which his name is something else on the album. It's like half a mil or something. So I don't know what his name's supposed to be. But anyway, that's what his name is on the song, and Foxy Brown. I love the funky beat. The melodic bragging made the song very memorable because Nas is actually singing on the chorus. That's interesting. Where was I? Melodic bragging was song. Oh, I wish Foxy Brown had more verses, but everyone was good on the song. Pretty Boy held his own, and I wonder where he is now. LOL. I did look him up, and unfortunately, I don't know if I could say this on. Well, I think I could. There's a way I could say he took his own life in the 2000s. Unfortunately, I think that's a fine way to say. So that was kind of sad to see because I felt like he was really good on the song. All right, and then Untouchable with Nas and Wizard. This is a great song. This song had a great start, but it ends just after Wizard's verse. So I guess it's supposed to be an interlude. It's crazy this was so short because Wizard was actually going in. It was really good. And Nas did the introduction, so that's why I put Nas. I guess technically he's not really credited on this song when you look it up, but he's on there. But yeah, he was going in. It was really good, and then it was only like a minute long, like a minute and a half, and I was like, "Where's the rest of the song?" And then the last favorite song, I actually have two more, but I'm gonna talk about it in my overall opinion. Desperados. This is Cannabis, AZ, and Nature. Cannabis had an amazing verse about with so much imagery in it about how he's such a great rapper, and I loved it. He was talking about wrestling metaphors. He had like all kinds of things. It was really great. And AZ and Nature had great verses too, and the guitar beat really complemented the title of the song because Desperados. It's like bandits, criminals, that kind of theme. So those are my favorite songs. My least favorite songs was Hardcore featuring which had Nas and Foxy Brown featuring Miss Jones. Um the Desserts and Encore sample was wasted on this song, unfortunately. Y'all know that song. Desserts and Encores. Y'all know that song. Um it didn't go well with their verses. They were trying to mix the mafioso theme and being sexy, and it wasn't going together. LOL. And I think you can have a sexy gangster song, but it just wasn't working for me. And then also Miss Jones. No offense to her, I wonder where she is. I didn't even look her up. Uh, I don't know. She wasn't that great to me as the chorus singer. But yeah, it wasn't that great. And then my second least favorite song is "Fuck Someone Else." That was Foxy Brown's solo song. I was so excited to hear her song by herself, but it was actually really disappointing. The chorus and her verses weren't the best that they could have been. And basically, the skit before, she's with some guy and he's a 1 minute man, basically. And then she's like, "Oh, I can be with somebody else," basically. And it's like, I don't think it was her best, like, you know, verses that she could have possibly came out with. So that was disappointing. But that was my last least favorite song. So I only had two. And then my other two favorite songs, here's my overall opinion, were 5 Minutes to Flush, which had, oh my gosh, I forgot his name, but he does the computer voice thing, like Computer Love, like that kind of computerized voice. And basically, it's about a guy. The police are, the feds are raiding him, so he's trying to flush all the drugs, basically. And that was a really good song. And then Firm Biz was their other great songs, and the Firm Biz had Square Biz sample, and it went actually really good. It was a really good song. I love that one. It was like a little soulful and rap, and was mixed with rapping. I originally thought I wouldn't like it very much, but I actually liked it more than I thought. I think this album is more on its theme of the mafia life than conspiracy, but I also think it but I also think sometimes hinders the album where it tried to be sexy, especially. Um, because I just felt like, but I kind of feel like you could be like a bad boy type, sexy mafioso thing, but I don't think it didn't really come out that way for them. I think the skits made more sense on this album because they actually went into the next song that they were, before, so it made more sense. Um, what was I thinking? I think everyone, even if I don't like the song, still put their best foot forward. Even though some of them, I just said Foxy Brown didn't really put her best foot forward on her song, but yeah, I think these songs are so. Oh, I think these songs are like too on theme, are so themed that it could be hard for like to replay them for fun. However, I think they were better verses on this album. I can see the vision they had, but it wasn't horrible in my opinion. I get some of the sample songs were more upbeat, but I don't get pop from them. I feel like they were more soulful, if anything. I don't think it really like it didn't sound like really poppy to me. Um, I think it's had great potential. It just sucks they never tried again. And I would give this album an 8 out of 10, just slightly over for the verses being better than Junior Mafia, but Junior Mafia still had more mass appeal, obviously. I feel like a lot of those members went, I mean, I guess together. They were more mass appeal. And then I wrote an acrostic poem, and I wanted to write a poem that kind of encapsulated both albums because I didn't really want to do it based on one song, but it's called Gangsta. So here it is. Getting to the money by any means necessary and not giving a fuck who we steal from because why are they in our way anyway? And it just kind of gave those vibes from both albums. So have you heard the Firm's only album, The Album? And have you heard Junior Mafia's technically, I guess, only full album, also, because that's the only one that all the members, or most of the members, were on, was Conspiracy. Which one did you prefer better? Do you like Little Kim over Foxy Brown or vice versa? Were you just here for everybody? Whatever you think, let me know, and I will see you all next week.